A cabinet secretary froze on national television, and the entire country watched her confidence drain away because of one question she should have been able to answer in 5 seconds. Not a question about intelligence reports, not a question about border strategy, a question about a picture. And that single moment didn't just expose hesitation. It exposed something far more alarming. What happens when the truth becomes too dangerous for powerful people to say out loud? The exchange started like routine oversight, the kind of back-and-forth hearings usually turn into. But the tension lit up instantly when the photo came up, the one the president posted a month earlier of Abrego Garcia.
His time has expired. I now recognize Mr. Swalwell for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. You have an important job. I think you have one of the most important jobs in the cabinet. Thank you for doing it. I want you to have credibility and be taken seriously as you do the job. And so I want to put to rest this question about Mr. Garcia and this photo that the president posted on April 21. Madam Secretary, you agree that the letters MS and the number 13 in Times Roman numeral font, that they are doctored on this photo, right?
Congressman Abrego Garcia.
No, I'm just asking about this photo.
It wasn't based off of tattoos. It was based off an entire case.
And I'll accept that
case against him.
for the purpose of this question. You agree, though, that this is doctored. Is that right?
The same protocols that are
Madam
applied
Secretary,
to every
I want you to have
individual with law
credibility,
enforcement.
and I want you to be taken seriously. Is this doctored or is it not
Sir,
doctored?
I am taken quite seriously
Is it
because
doctored
I
or
approach my
not
job
doctored?
with the importance that the president has given me to do
I understand.
my job.
Is it doctored or not
One thing
doctored?
that's important to remember is that every single time a case is built,
Madam
against
Secretary, I have a
individuals,
7-year-old,
the
a
same
6-year-old, and a
protocols.
3-year-old. I have a bullshit detector. I'm just asking you, is this doctored or not doctored?
Sir, the protocols in the case built against
Can you
Abrego
answer the
Garcia
question?
were exactly the same.
Madam Secretary,
I don't have
you're-
any knowledge as to that photo you're pointing to.
Okay, can you
I
take
don't,
her,
sir.
can you show her the photo? Walk her the photo down there. No, that one. Please take a look at this photo. It was tweeted by the president on April 21. It's been hanging out there for about a month.
So what is your point?
My question is, the numbers and the letter, MS-13, could you look at the photo, please? It's right in front of
Are
you.
you saying Abrego Garcia is not a wife
No,
beater?
no, ma'am.
That he's not a criminal,
Ma'am,
he's not a human trafficker, and
ma'am,
he's not a member of MS-13?
You vouched for Mr. Garcia when
You're
your team
vouching for
said,
a man
ma'am, you
that is
vouched
a
for him when
known
you said he was
violent
mistakenly
criminal.
deported.
Sir,
I didn't vouch for him.
I did not say
In that
He
photo,
should have been deported, absolutely.
It's so
There was
telling
never
that
a
you
mistake
won't look at the
deport him,
photo.
And we will not be bringing
Was
him back
it
to this
doctored or
country.
not?
If in staying here, if
Can
he
you
comes
look to
back
your
the
right
country, he
at
would
the
be
photo in
taken
front
right
of you?
away.
Madam Secretary, can you look to the right at the photo in front of you?
I have seen this
Okay.
photo as you held it behind your head.
Thank you. And the letters MS and the numbers 13, are those
Is this your
doctored or
entire
not?
testimony today is on a doctored photo? You don't want to talk about the facts?
Okay,
The
so you-
importance of our national security?
You acknowledge it was
Do
doctored.
to make sure that the United States is protected?
Madam Secretary,
from
this is not a
violent
hard question.
criminals?
Are those doctored or not?
Sir,
Is that actually on his hand or not?
This is unbelievable to me that you're focused
It's
on
unbelievable
a
to me
photo
that you can't
think-
look at the photo and tell the
I
American
looked at
people.
the photo, but I don't have any knowledge as to this photo.
Okay, so it's been hanging out there for 4 weeks. You are one of the chief law enforcement officials in the country. What have you done to investigate whether the president misrepresented the reason that that person has been detained?
Sir,
have
we
you
spend our
done
time-
anything to try and figure out whether that was doctored or not?
The mission of the Department of Homeland Security is to secure our nation and to make sure that we're out there going after those that are the worst of the worst, the criminals, the bad actors. Abrego
Yes.
Garcia.
So the answer is
a
you've done
known
nothing to
terrorist,
correct the
member
president.
of MS-13, a wife beater and a human trafficker that should never have been in this country to begin with.
So, Madam Secretary, thank you, Mr. Burnett. 2 weeks ago, your agency deported a 4-year-old American citizen in a stage 4 cancer battle. What are you doing to get him back to the country so he can get his treatment?
Congressman, this mother wished to keep her family together and to take her child with her. So as every single person is given the opportunity to, medical care is given throughout the process.
so it sounds like
And for this
nothing.
child, medical care was confirmed in their home country so that it would continue, and those treatments and whatever needs were needed to be had into the future were confirmed to be provided there before.
That child's home country is the United States. Do you believe you have a right to deport a U.S. citizen?
That mother chose to keep her family together, and that is what President Trump is
that's-
focused on. I'm
that's
making
not the
sure
facts of the case.
Yes, it is the facts.
Madam
This
Secretary,
mother
moving on.
confirmed that she wanted to
do
keep
you
her
have a
child
right?
with her, and our families and parents are given that ability to keep their children with them when they return to their home countries.
Madam Secretary, do you have a right to deport a U.S. citizen?
No, we do not deport U.S. citizens and have not deported U.S. citizens.
Except the 4-year-old that we just
No,
referenced.
that mother chose to keep her child with her, and that is her prerogative, and the law was followed in allowing her the opportunity to do that.
So, Madam Secretary, I'm a former prosecutor. I have put people away for life sentences who are gang members. I don't need to wear costumes to show how tough I am. What makes me different from you is when I put those individuals away, I did it with the weight of the law behind me. And I yield back.
Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman yields.
I ask unanimous consent to enter an article from Fox 45 that states documents reveal a second protective order filed by the
A man publicly labeled as a gang member, a trafficker, a violent threat. That image showed the letters MS and the number 13 stamped across his hand in a font that looked nothing like real tattoos. Online debates exploded the moment it surfaced, with people claiming the markings looked edited, stretched, and pasted on. Some said the lighting didn't match. Others said the font was suspiciously clean. But the question Swalwell asked wasn't complicated. He didn't demand proof. He didn't ask her to defend policy. He simply asked, is this photo real or is it doctored? And right there, everything cracked. Instead of answering, she dodged. Not once, not twice, over and over again. She talked about protocols. She talked about cases. She talked about general threats, national security, criminals, bad actors, everything except the only thing he asked. It wasn't even a political question. It was a factual one, a yes or no, something any credible official in any administration should be able to answer without hesitation. And you could feel it. The room went cold because the truth was sitting right in front of her, printed on a sheet of paper, and she still wouldn't touch it. Swalwell tried again. And again, and again. He tried narrowing the question. He tried removing context. He tried stripping the conversation down to its simplest form. Are these letters on his hand real? Are the numbers real? Is this edited? Each time, she slipped back into the same rehearsed language like she was reading from a script written to avoid ever saying the president might have posted something false at one point. The moment turned almost surreal. He asked for the staff to walk the photo directly to her, literally inches away. Just look at it, that's all he asked. She refused. She stared forward, sidestepped, deflected. She said she didn't have any knowledge. She said she hadn't investigated the image. She said her focus was on national security, not on photographs. But when someone is confronted with a picture that has been circulating for a month, a picture that shaped public perception, a picture used to justify a detention, refusing to acknowledge what's on the page becomes its own kind of answer, because no one refuses to answer a harmless question unless the truth creates a bigger problem. And the bigger problem was obvious. If she admitted the photo was edited, she'd have to admit the narrative built around it was false. If the narrative was false, the justification for detention collapses. And if the justification collapses, the administration looks like it manufactured a threat. That is a political firestorm no cabinet official wants to ignite. So instead of contradicting the president, she contradicted reality. But the hearing didn't stop there. It spun into an even darker direction, a direction that left the room silent for a moment. Swalwell moved on to the case of a 4-year-old American child with stage 4 cancer, a child undergoing life or death treatment, a child the agency removed from the country, a child whose survival depended on medical care that was interrupted. He asked her what she was doing to bring that child back home. Her answer? The mother chose to keep her family together. It didn't matter that the child is a U.S. citizen. It didn't matter that deportation is a government action, not a family decision. It didn't matter that no parent anywhere would voluntarily remove their sick child from treatment out of choice. She stuck to the talking point, word for word, even as it contradicted everything about how deportation functions. And when Swalwell pressed her, "Do you believe you have the right to deport a U.S. citizen?" she answered, "No, we do not deport U.S. citizens." Except they had. And she still claimed it didn't happen because the mother chose it. It was one of those moments where the argument collapses under the weight of its own logic. Because if the government doesn't deport citizens, yet a citizen child ends up outside the country because of a deportation proceeding, then something is deeply wrong. Either the policy is broken or the narrative is being bent to protect the people who enforced it. And this is where the frustration boiled over, not just from Swalwell, but from anyone watching who understands what government power actually means. Because public officials don't get to bend facts to match talking points. They don't get to hide behind rehearsed lines when lives are impacted by their decisions. They don't get to pretend that an edited photo might be real just because acknowledging the truth would embarrass the administration that he told her. I don't need to wear costumes to show how tough I am. Referencing the chest-thumping theatrics some officials used to appear strong on crime. He pointed out the difference between real prosecution, built on law, evidence, due process, and political narratives built on images that might have been altered. The contrast was brutal and deserved, because the deeper issue in this hearing wasn't the photo. And it wasn't even the tragedy of the 4-year-old child. It was the collapse of credibility happening right in front of millions of viewers. The moment when a public official refuses to acknowledge reality because the truth would cross a political line they're not allowed to cross. And when truth becomes optional, accountability becomes impossible. This hearing revealed something people fear but rarely say out loud. Some leaders have become so loyal to narratives that they will deny what's directly in front of them, even when it's printed on a piece of paper. Even when a child's life is at stake. Even when millions are watching. They'll repeat the same scripted phrases, dodge the same questions, and hide behind the same talking points because the political cost of honesty is too high. People online began asking a different question after watching the footage. Not, is the photo fake? Not, why was the child deported? But something far more unsettling. What else are they refusing to tell the truth about? Because once you see a public official unable to acknowledge a clear, yes or no reality, it becomes impossible not to wonder what other truths have been buried under rehearsed answers. What other decisions were justified with manipulated evidence? What other lives were affected by stories built on altered images? What other cases were shaped by politics instead of facts? Democracies don't collapse in one day. They rot slowly when truth becomes negotiable. When officials treat honesty like a liability. When power is protected by silence instead of accountability. That's why this moment mattered. Not because of the image, not because of the child alone, but because of what it revealed. A government where political loyalty weighs more than factual accuracy. A system where the most powerful people in the room freeze when asked for the simplest confirmation. A culture where narrative becomes more real than reality itself. And if we let that become normal, we lose the ability to trust anything our leaders say. That's the danger buried inside this hearing. That's the part no one can ignore. And that's why people across the political spectrum reacted with disbelief, frustration, and growing alarm. That if you want more deep breakdowns like this, real stories, real hearings, real moments where power gets confronted, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters more than ever.